Right guys, so another little collaboration review. This is going to be on my out and about video and a separate video for Paul.
Oh, Paul, PABrewNews, baby. We're going to do it. We're doing a double take, 2 cameras, baby.
Exactly,
Yeah.
So
what we have here, we're at Glasstown,
yep.
Millville, New Jersey, enjoying some beers. And what do we got going? We got the Big Breakfast, coffee maple porter at 7.2 alcohol by volume.
Yeah. I've not had too many porters on my trip over here just now, but yeah, it just kind of caught my eye because I love imperial coffee stouts and things.
Yeah.
Porter just isn't such a popular style in Europe. Like, not so many people are brewing those apart from the kind of traditional English breweries.
Right. Like the London porters and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean the kind of more American style breweries at home in Scotland or across Scandinavia, they're going to brew the big imperial coffee stouts.
Porters are pretty common around here. The one thing that I don't see a lot of, but I do now and again, is Baltic porters, the lager style. And then when they usually brew them pretty well here.
Oh yeah.
Which is surprising. They're pretty good.
Well, it's an interesting thing to talk about with porters because the original porters were about 5%, the London porters. You have the robust porters, which are usually a bit stronger at
7,
6
8,
and
7-8%. Yeah.
And
then imperial porters.
Because I would just say Baltic was another one. So because I would have thought Baltic was like 7.7.
And then Baltics, they're technically lagers because they're lager yeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I'll tell you what, a 10% Baltic porter, you're good all day.
Oh yeah.
So that's fun.
All right.
And this is coffee maple.
Yeah.
Porter.
So this looks very nice. I mean,
nice leg.
It's lovely kind of dark ebony rosewood color. We kind of split one of these because we're going to do two beers in one tasting.
Yeah, and then we're going to do another brewery too. Yeah. So lots more to come.
Exactly. So yeah, we just kind of split like a little pour of this. But yeah, dark ebony rosewood color, about like a half finger of a frothy kind of fawn colored head, I would say. Yeah, it's if you put the light through this, yeah, there's nothing coming through that.
Pretty dark.
Yeah. Nothing coming through this. Not much in the way of visible carbonation. You would expect this of a porter anyway.
Yeah,
this
it
type
sat
of
out a little bit, warmed up, got a bit of temperature, so it wasn't too cold, so we can get a little bit of those nuanced flavors, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Nose. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. It's really nicely balanced for me. I mean, you get a good mix of the maple syrup, and then the coffee comes out a bit later, I think.
And it almost reminds me of that we had a coffee cake called a pecan swirl. It had that kind of caramel nuttiness, kind of roast, the kind of like baked bread kind of vibe, but it has a little bit of that as well.
Oh yeah, I mean for me, I love coffee beans as an adjunct because they're just as diverse as hops, you know. You've got different soil profiles, water profiles, then you've got different bean varieties.
Different roast.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then, different, if you grow them at different heights, the maso, the meters above sea level, plays a big role as well.
It is interesting that terroir goes into coffee as well, or tea, goes into all that.
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, the coffee bean that you get in this, it's quite an aromatic leaning coffee bean, like quite floral. Paul loves it when I say aromaticity, so there we go. But quite a sort of florally aromatic one. There's a bit of like a dainty kind of prune note coming out of the coffee bean, I think, as well. Like it's got a bit of a sultana, dainty.
It reminds me of like a fruit dipped in dark chocolate kind of vibe. Kind of like a roast in there. It has a nice little nuance of that.
And I mean, obviously, the maple syrup is giving you this really heavy, brown sugary note out of the beer too.
It actually smells like, though, you get a lot of aroma, but you don't get a lot of like sticky sweetness coming out. It just has aroma, like that charred, little bit burnt sugar caramel, mixing it with that maple syrup. Yeah,
I mean, like there's like a little bit of a kind of rye bread crust and a bit of a kind of chocolate brownie underneath this one for me. Yeah, the malt bean smells like chocolate brownie.
The burnt rounds of a brownie. Yeah, the charred.
Yeah, the bit of the edge on the bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
All right.
Hoppy wise, not a lot to the port. Maybe just a little bit of grassiness.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe some like plum, red fruity notes, but not too much.
I think they went more for just like, here's your base base hop addition because everything else is gonna kind of foreshadow it.
Yeah, no, that's it. But it smells lovely.
Let's get into it.
We'll taste this one.
Cheers.
So the big breakfast, Slanger.
Thin,
Well, that's what makes it a porter, yeah.
but not sweet, not overly sweet. There's like nuances of sweetness. There's like a little burnt caramel, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So it's a lot of aroma and more nuance on the flavors.
Yeah. Well, it's got like, for me, roasty bread crust in the base.
Yeah.
Not really. I was expecting a bit more bread, like rye bready sweetness out of this.
Yeah. No.
It has got a bit of like it's got a little bit of like a fluffy black bread sort of thing, maybe.
It definitely has like kind of like, I wouldn't say sugarless baker's chocolate because there's just a little bit of something in there peering out. But there's chocolate, but it's not milk chocolate. There's a little bit of chocolate coming through with a little bit of that burnt crust coming through. The maple syrup is a nice flavor, but it's not sweet. Like it's a nice aromatic flavor. It's kind of, you're breathing it.
Yeah, it's almost giving you the same effect as like, you know, cognac or bourbon barrel aging.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like it's doing that sort of job rather than being too
That's a
prominent
good.
in flavor.
It almost reminds you of almost like breathing that kind of a CBS.
Oh yeah.
That from Founders when it has that barrel. You don't really taste it so much, but you're breathing it out the whole time.
I think though, the malty base for me, bread crust, like a well-fired bread crust, a kind of fluffier like black bread or something. You can feel there is like a layer of like a toasty caramelly brown sugar in there. The coffee bean sits further back on that back third of the palate, and it's got a little bit of sharpness to it actually. There's a bit more red fruit in the coffee bean flavour. Still quite aromatic as we thought.
I wonder if that is coming from the hops a little bit of that red bean kind of like that red berry kind of note. That's
I think it
that
will be,
little bit of subtle, like, I wouldn't say cherry, but maybe a currant.
Yeah.
Something in the background.
Yeah.
But I would say there's a little bit of that like nuance of burnt cinnamon, burnt French toast vibe, like the charred French toast kind of a vibe. There is some sweet, some nice nuances coming out.
I actually don't eat French toast that often, so that's a bit new to me. But yeah, I can see kind of where you're going. It has a little bit of like
it's missing that confectionery sugar powder they put on it, but it definitely has that kind of like soft charred breadiness with that maple syrup.
Yeah. I think you get a bit more hoppiness out of this as well.
It's coming in the back.
Yeah. So there's earthy on the sides of the palate, earthiness, herbal character, a little bit floral, a little bit grassy, and like Paul was saying, on that front third of your palate, you do get this little bit of kind of sharper. You get this little bit of like sharper, like raisin, plum, fig out of this beer. Yeah.
That might be coming from the yeast. It might be coming from a little bit of if they used an English yeast, you get a little bit of fruit to it.
Oh yeah.
Might not be all the beans. But there's a subtle something. And there is an earthy hop to this one, bringing a little bit of earthiness to it. I'm assuming there's a little char from the roast. There's char, earthiness. There's a little bit of a peppery. I won't say full copper point, but there's a minerality. Tasting.
Yeah.
I think it might be in the water here because we are getting close to the sea, so it could be a terroir in that with the ground soil.
Could have been something in that with the Kolsch as well. Actually,
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, mouthfeel wise, sticks to the porter quite well.
Yeah, I would say it's a medium to low side of a medium body overall.
Yeah, like low end of medium bodied.
Yeah.
Carbonation smooth. It's got a bit of a higher bitterness to this, maybe, well, not overly high, but maybe about 60-ish.
I like the fact that it's a little bit drier because it makes it more drinkable.
Yeah, because you have to talk about perceived bitterness versus calculated bitterness here. I think about 60-ish.
Really?
Yeah, 50 or 60 IBUs.
Oh, okay.
But it's got quite a bit of dryness as well, so that could be affecting what I'm seeing.
I can say like 40-50, but in that range,
Yeah. Fruity wise, a little bit of sharpness to it, a little bit of oiliness. I think that covers everything.
I wish it would be bumped up a little bit. Just
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe a little bit of like, it needs either a wee bit more kind of sweetness or a wee bit more coffee. It needs to just lean one way a little bit more.
I'd say it's for me. I would say this is probably just a hair under solid, so like the 7 category. Just a hair under, like it's just right there, but not quite.
But the thing is as well, it's quite. I can see why you would say that, because for me, this has a little bit of like English porter type quality
Yes,
to it.
yeah.
And if you talk about an American brewed porter, when I always say this, whenever Americans get a hold of the style, they just put it on steroids almost.
Yeah.
This feels a little bit more like a kind of traditional English porter. It just has that little bit more
Yeah.
reservedness. Can we call it reservedness?
Reservedness, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now if it said the full English, and that's what the name of this was, I would say, okay, London Porter, got it.
Yeah,
now,
no, it would fit that. Yeah.
But because it says the Big Breakfast, I don't want a big old sloppy American Porter. You know,
I see what you mean.
A little kicked up.
Yeah, this would be like, if you call it the English breakfast, that would
Yeah,
fit quite
yeah,
well.
exactly.
That would be a good thing, yeah. All right, English breakfast. It should be called English breakfast. This
Yeah,
one,
then
but
it
then
would be
maple
good.
syrup is more Canadian.
Well, you know, they're owned by the English. So
Well, you
that's-
guys were at one point, but yeah,
It happens.
it happens.
to everybody.
It happens. Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to do the other one on the same video, or are we going to stop?
We can make another one.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that for this one, and we'll catch you guys in a little second. So let's press the buttons.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.